Saint John. Now I'm sure you all know which John we're talking about, because there are a few mentioned in the New Testament. What I'll be saying about Saint John comes from the Greek Orthodox tradition. So we believe this is the John who was born in the town of Bethsaida, a fishing village by the lake of Galilee, the son of Zebedee and Salome, with his brother James, who was a fisherman in the lake of Galilee. According to tradition, at first, they were the disciples of Saint John the Baptist. It's later they met Christ, became Christ's disciples, and John was Christ's youngest and most beloved pupil, to whom Christ entrusted his mother when he was on the cross. He helped spread his teacher's word and was the heart of the church in Ephesus. The church in Ephesus, as you know, was one of the first Christian churches that the Apostle Paul had founded in that region, which to start with was Greek colonies, but at the time of Paul and John, they were Roman colonies. The Romans, to start with, were really relaxed. Yeah, you can believe in anything you want. But as the empire began to become bigger and bigger, they had to find a way to control and unite all those different people living around the so-called Roman lake, the Mediterranean. And they found a way to enforce the same religion on everyone, the worship of the emperor as God. Now, if you already believed in 12 gods, perhaps adding another one wasn't a big deal. But if you only believed in one, well, it kind of was. So Christian, among others, said no to this, and the Romans didn't just see it as a religious difference, they saw it as a political statement. They saw it as an act of rebellion. So persecutions began. Christianity became one of the illegal religions. It's in this political climate that in the year 95, during the persecution of Christians by the Roman Emperor Domitian, that John is exiled from Ephesus here to Patmos, a common punishment in Roman times. Quite often you lost your civil rights, your property, and you were exiled for life. And the tradition is that John wasn't exiled here alone. One of his pupils, a young man, was exiled here with him, and his name was Prochoros. Prochoros is mentioned in Acts 6 as one of the first deacons of the Christian church. So they're here, they think they're here for good. But in the year 96, Domitian, who had exiled John, was assassinated. He was murdered, some say by his own wife. I'd like to say an unlikely story, but I've been watching Roman Empire on Netflix, and I'm pretty sure she did it. There was a new emperor then, Nerva, and he was favorable towards Christians. So he called back from the island those who had been exiled. St. John was free to return to Ephesus, and that's what he did. So he only stayed for about 18 months, definitely less than 2 years. So he goes back to Ephesus where he continues his work, and when he was too old to preach, he would just say, "My children, love one another," and he's known as the Apostle of Love. He passed away in Ephesus. Tradition has it around the age of 100, the only one of the 12 apostles who did not die a martyr's death. Did you pass from the tomb of the Basilica of St. John, the ruins of St. I think you probably drove past it, yeah. So there, exactly, in Ephesus, the ruins of the Basilica of St. John, where his tomb is. But it's an empty tomb, as the Orthodox tradition continues that he was lifted up to heaven. We celebrate this on the 26th of September, which is a big celebration for Patmos. Schools are out, so the kids love it too. And let me show you the old entrance to the Monastery of the Revelation. I'll show you a mosaic which is there, and then we'll go down.